educate, empower, enable, impact. Thank you for tuning in to That Will Never Work podcast, where we share inspiring information and personal experiences related to business and the entrepreneurial journey from those who are leaders in their respective field. Now, here's your host, author and business coach, Maurice.
Hey, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in today. So, this one is an interesting one because I realized that it was a lot more work than I had anticipated. So, over last couple days, I have taken the time to reorganize, rename some podcast episodes. So some of you know that I have thought of, produced, and hosting on 3 different podcasts. As you are listening right now is That Will Never Work podcast. And I thank you very much for listening and tuning in. But as you also know, I have one with my wife that's called the No Fruit podcast. It's on the same channel that you're listening to right now. And also the Neighbors podcast, Naybors podcast. And that is with my actual neighbor. He lives up the street from me. So I was organizing all of my content just from a podcast perspective and the various topics and the flow and the maturity I have experienced, I will say, in this place of podcasting. One, let me go back to organization. You know, in the very beginning, of podcasting, I was saving my audio. I was using GarageBand, and I was using a Tascam as my audio interface, and not understanding how to use it 100%. But I learned through a period of time. But let me get back to the files itself. I realized that I was saving all of my files, or most of my files in the very beginning, a little all over the place. They were a little helter-skelter, if you will. And I realized one day, a month or so ago, that I was looking for an episode, and I was like, yo, where is that episode? What's going on? Why can't I find it? In the midst of me looking for these episodes, I found other episodes that were misplaced. They were in the wrong folders. I mean, folders, they were not even in audio folders. They were not in even in the regular GarageBand folder. And then I eventually graduated to Logic Pro. I started to become a little more comfortable with using Logic Pro. And so that's what I use now as my DAW, if you will. And then I graduated to the Rodecaster Pro, and I realized that not just being able to save it on my Rodecaster Pro, but saving it in Logic was a little different. And I started to take better care of my information, my content, and not just saving it on my computer, but actually saving it on external hard drives and backing them up and things like that. And as I start to sift through sift through all of my documents and folders and things like that, I realize that I need to be better organized and understanding my processes. And I encourage each and every one of you today to understand your own processes, to understand where you are saving things, and to take a look at your documents, and are you saving them in the right places? And, are you taking care of even your personal things, such as your Do you understand where your ID cards are, or your health insurance cards, or your credit cards, if you will? Are you understanding that uh, organization and the benefits of it? Now, some people will say, hey, this works best for me and that type of thing, right? But what happens when someone is looking for something for you in a pinch? Will they be able to find it? Or will they have to sift through a whole bunch of information? So, we had a family member that passed away years ago, and that individual did not keep all their documentations organized. So when they passed, it was very hard to find their life insurance policy or any type of health information, because they did not keep their health insurance card in their wallet. So I remember that our cousin, she was having a hard time, and they had a lot of things that she had to go through for her mom because the information was not readily available. And in that, I'm not sure how long it had taken for their funeral, but it felt like a long time because they were trying to find the insurance information. So yes, I started off by talking about just organizing these files for this content for the podcast, but it made me think of every other thing that's in my life that should be important to me. If not as important as this podcast, but even more important to me, because it can change a situation, a life, a circumstance, a moment, in a moment that can become stressful for someone else, let alone yourself. I encourage each and every one of you to organize, to go through your things. I understand that some people do that at the end of the year. It is spring, almost springtime, so spring cleaning mindset. But just trying to find a way to better organize your thoughts, your belongings, your files, like I said, your important documents, whatever that might be. And for some of us, who feel like, hey, we're really organized, but maybe I just need to organize my records. Some people have albums, if you will, or their pictures, or the cassette tapes, whatever it is that you need to organize. Take the time and sit down and do that. It will help with your mental health, your physical health, and possibly even your emotional health. Take the time to do that and understand what the benefits, long-term benefits can be for you. Because if you're organized and you sit down at night, you might be able to feel a little bit better. You might feel a little more relaxed. Take the time to do that. And I hope that you will have a more light-hearted moments and opportunities, knowing that your things and your belongings are in order. If I was to say something to someone today about the podcast and these episodes, my son, who is a tech person, it might take him a while to find it because it wasn't in place. And to me, these shows are valuable because of what we have covered, what we have done, and who we might have touched for those particular episodes. I understand each episode is not the same, and it touches someone else differently. So these are just as valuable as anything else. I encourage you to get yourself together. Get your stuff together. And one thing that I would like to say, that when I have these conversations and these thoughts, I want you to understand that I'm not just talking to you, but I'm also talking to myself, to remind myself to stay on point, to remind myself that, Maurice, you need to get your stuff together. I thank y'all very much for listening today. And I hope that you understand the importance of just organization. It's never too late. It's never too soon. It's always the right time to get it done. Thank you very much for listening today.
Thanks for listening. Find us on social media at Chisholm Group LLC and check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, that will never work, or will it?